happy day, Oberon continues to solo Slime Rancher, roosterless as I am. Well, that'll keep me distracted. How many more minutes do I have on this? 17? Oh, hey! There. Alright. Whew, so we've been talking about BESM, which is great. And I've been going deep into all the different systems they have and how I've modified them over many, many years to do what I needed to do. The thing we haven't touched on is XP, leveling up. And that's because BESM 2 didn't have it, really. They had some recommendations, but there was no true, like, leveling system. No XP to track, no... keep this high wall as immediate, and an auto feeder. Oh, I don't have enough for an auto feeder. Alright. So, where was I? So yeah, they didn't have any kind of XP or anything you could track. I think the most normal suggestion was, just give players a few points every game. Which, I mean, works alright, and honestly, oh, you bastards, you ate a rooster right in front of me. And, like, yeah, that makes sense. There are a lot of games that do something similar, L5R, and, a lot of the, like, White Wolf games do something like that. You get a few points every time you go to a meeting or whatever, and it costs X development points to develop the thing. Which, the first thing I did was I separated character creation from development and made the costs at either stage different for different things. Basically charging a tax on people developing powers that you should really have from the beginning as a character. Like, you're not gonna just suddenly become psychic. You either are psychic or you're not psychic. And it gets hard to train those. But it's less hard to just buy them at character creation. So that's the first thing I have done and would recommend. Is modifying the cost based on the situation. Other recommendation here is seeing as you're probably running on, oh god, I don't know that, nope. Probably running on a similar effaced system as what I was, is then to have kind of a going rate of basic costs for types of abilities, because anymore you're not dealing with the BESM abilities. Those just don't work for leveling up. They don't work for development, the caps are too high, and they're just not flexible enough, really, to do what you need them to do in a gameplay sense of giving a feeling of progression. So I ended up kind of breaking down hooks into types of hooks. So then I started breaking down skills and abilities to those associated types. So if it's a reputation hook, you're going to get a reputation ability out of it, on top of what other things go around. And reputation, as long as it's warranted within game, and almost everything I've done for development from that point on, has that caveat of, as long as you've justified it in game, shouldn't be that hard to level up. Now, that's one of those ones where I would increase the cost of leveling it up if it was not as gameplay appropriate. Like, oh well, I want to use some of my development points to really push that this experience has changed my reputation. I might, like, if it's at least associated, you know, I might say okay. But if it's just, oh yeah, I want to increase my level and reputation, well, you didn't do anything to it. No. Obviously, be loose with that, but so, you know, a reputation is usually relatively cheap because it's something that the world kind of pushes upon you. So if it's appropriate, it's 1 point a level. You know, so big. Oh, of course the market goes down as I'm shooting into it. Something more expensive might be like specific skills, because you really need to show that you've gotten better at it. One badass action usually doesn't do that for skill clusters. It can if you repeat the badass action a few times. It's just, yeah, that's how good I am. But there's always the chance that the character in the narrative got lucky. So it's going to have a higher in price. But at the same time, if you spend the development after an action like that, after a moment of badass, you're implying that your character has actually gotten to that level. So there's some meta-game role-playing to be done with that. So yeah, for something like that, it's, you know, 2-3 points. Nothing big, nothing major, but more than just people see me as this. And then, usually rounding out the 3s and the 4s is what I called the stance or feat abilities. That is, abilities that are one-shot, like, you can do this thing now. You can use X to do Y. Based on Kensai, which is like, oh, you can use your fight ability to determine an opponent's power. And things like that. They were lists of, rather than, you know, more and more powerful abilities, they were just, the ability itself was just a list, extra levels, and it got you extra entries off of it. So, those, as a concept, translate rather nice into custom things for people. They feel like feats. So, you know, causing 3 to 4 points to open up some new use of your stats in your sheet. Not bad, it's going to be impactful, and it's still, like, purely physical. You're not usually talking about a bunch of magic going on for these. You're talking about a new skill learned, or a new trick that you've come up with, more than, you know, I have big bangy magic, because obviously magic, psionics, and all of the things that allow you to just straight up break the rules of physics in the world should be the most expensive things, costing probably 5 or 6 points. And that's really, if you structure a development sheet like that and trickle out points based on in-game roleplay, allowing things to be made either more expensive or cheaper, you get a nice feeling of people kind of storing up some points until they can really have an impact on the story, and then spending their development to kind of indicate that their character is developed. Now, it might happen if you're running something episodic, like I do most of the time, that at the end of the episode, people just spend their points. I've also played with systems around that concept, where if it's episodic, you get rewarded for doing it in between episodes, or doing it on screen, so to speak, in a big damn hero moment. But other than that, you can't really develop. They work alright. You want to fit that to the flavor of your game, though. You don't want to really roll into it with, like, design an action-heavy game, and then just, like, if it runs long, have to deal with, like, leveling up in combat because the combat took three things. You don't want that necessarily happening in that kind of an action-heavy game, but at the same time, in a slow, measured type of game, like a farming simulator or a mystery solver or something like that, where you're taking time and you're poring over things, maybe they can gain stuff at any time. Maybe that makes sense, seeing as most of it is you sitting at home in your wizard's tower trying to develop new spells, or pondering in your think tank over what the cause of this mystery could be. The other modification I've done to that is I've modified it so that rather than just getting development points straight out, you get level. Oh my god, I am so done! No! Get. There we go. Just had to throw that thing off the planet. So anyway, rather than giving them development points directly, I've had games where I gave them, you know, based on characters, a set number of development points per level, and then gone into dropping experience points. And then when they take experience point, or when they get enough experience points, you ding to a level, yada yada yada. Then you gotta BESM is strong at non-combat actions. Unlike other systems, it deals very well with not being in combat, so you're going to want to be assigning XP values to solving of problems, discovering of mysteries, things like that. Really having a holistic approach to delivering experience if you really want to make it work out. Because otherwise it's just going to be Saiyans all the way down, as combat is the only thing that gives you XP. So don't do that. The nice thing is that working it like that is very familiar. Like, you're not going to have to explain it to anyone. You're going to know what's going on when they say, oh, I get X points a level. It's a point-buy system, I get X points every time I level, and I have X XP to level. I know what these things are. I got it. Good. Other thing I've done instead, which was interesting, although I wouldn't want to run an extended campaign like that, was directly based on people's actions in the game as the DM directly just gone in and said, okay, that level that's there on your sheet, increase it by 1. Or add a new ability to your sheet. Now, whenever there's like big magic or high stakes and crazy stuff going on, I may still just, even just outside the rules of anything, sit down with a player of a character and go, Yeah, just so you know, if you do this, you're gonna add this to your sheet. In regular BESM, oftentimes I'll give them something that is both a defect and an advantage to kind of try and at least balance the cost off. Ah! No, you ate the rooster because I picked up a plort. Fuck you. Salty. Anyway, so yeah, I have just gone in and said, well, this freaking excellent action deserves a reward. Get a bonus on something related. Because, you know what, that's just great. And that will have your characters thinking about how to be or your players thinking about how to be as awesome as possible at any given time. That usually doesn't get too boring too quickly. Oh yeah. Like, they had whole templates for this is how you should level characters and stuff, which is great. What is this? It's chickens. This is what this is. Got it. Got a rooster. Got a bunch of chickens. Oh, yeah. Hell yeah. Get me, dude. Wow, that run really drains you. Okay. So, anyway. As much fun as this is, next time on Oberon Solo Slime Rancher, I'm going to talk something else entirely.
The wind howled at the watch